It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. You got a video suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. So shout out to Domichi for suggesting this. This one's from Kyr Sozi, which I think is his second channel. And speaking of second channels, if you want to see my second channels, I guess you can call them plural because we got multiple. You can check the description and the end screen of this video, so you can actually watch the Rivals content and also the video essays that are coming as well on those other channels, because they're not DBD slop, and that's what we want to move towards, right? But let's go ahead and begin. Original videos in the description. We're just going to be talking about certain talking points, not the entire video. If you want to watch the entirety, the link is there. Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
Can't hold it anymore, I gotta get it out of my system. Survivors are fucking stupid. I've been playing this game for 9 years at this point, with most of my hours being on solo queue Survivor, and the amount of absolutely idiotic shit I've seen from my teammates is just unreal. It gets to such a ridiculous point that I genuinely start to wonder how these people even manage to turn on their PCs without exploding the house. Like, take an average Survivor team and put them in any standard situation even a monkey can deal with without any problems. I guarantee you, in 9 out of 10 cases, they're gonna find a way to fuck things up.
That, I think, is extremely accurate. As somebody who has been playing Killer for quite a while, I would have to say that, yes, survivors are very dumb. Like, very dumb. And it makes sense because, obviously, the survivor side has been catered to the hyper-casual, the type of player that is not interested in trying to learn anything. And, of course, with every single new buff that they're getting to the survivor side, is going to lead to less and less incentive to learn a goddamn thing about the game. And that's why you see constant complaining about tunneling, constant complaining about slugging, constant complaining about killers, constant complaining about killer perks. And it's a self-report when you see that survivor players are trying to say that, oh, the game is killer sided, when they're a bot. At the end of the day, they're a bot. They don't know what they're talking about. And at the end of the day, it's ultimately a skill issue coming from the survivor side. It just is, regardless of who says it. Like, it's a self-report. You're already just admitting that you failed, you lost. And it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of these people. That's why they start raging and complaining and making up delusions, because when faced with reality, they can't fathom the concept that they're actually just ass at the game. And it's extremely obvious when you decide to play any survivor and you get those teammates that have no fucking idea what they're doing, are making these blatantly idiotic decisions that make no sense, and then they're the quickest to DC, the quickest to give up on the hook, quickest to start like giving up and throwing down every pallet on the map, like standing there and not moving, stuff like that. And it's just pathetic at this point, because it's like, you know, those people are what behavior is catering to. And that's what's leading to the decline of this game, is because of the fact that those are the players they care the most about. They don't care about the people that want to learn the game. They don't care about the people that have experience on the game, the veterans, you know what I mean? They don't care about those people. They don't care about those things. They're interested in the hyper-casual clowns that don't want to learn anything. And then, mind you, you got the geniuses with heavy, bold quotations around that, that like to say, oh, but there's no tutorial in the game. And it's like, yeah, that is true. The tutorial's ass, but the resources are still there. You have the internet right at your fingertips. You can look up anything. You can learn anything you want about this game at the click of a button. You just boom, learn anything you want. There is so many resources to look up these things, to understand how killer powers work, how survivors perks work, how they synergize, what builds work, what this does, what that does, this mechanic, that mechanic, anything that you're curious about, boom, there's gonna be some information out there. But they actively refuse to engage with that. That's the most hilarious part about the community, is that they spend more time trying to gaslight you, make up narratives, insult you, and even furthermore committing actual crimes instead of actually trying to, oh, I don't know, learn the goddamn game. Like, I don't understand it. They play this shit all day. They love the game. So, oh my god, they love the game. Why don't you fucking learn anything about it? I don't get it.
They're gonna make every single mistake in the book. If they're going against the Legion, they're gonna be healing after every single frenzy hit. And not even with a medkit, with self-care, because apparently we're still running self-care in the big 2026. While playing a P100 survivor, how is this even real? Same thing against the Plague. They'll be giving her red puke for free because they're gonna be drinking from fountains left and right and then immediately interacting with infected objects again. The killer is camping someone like the anti-camp meter doesn't exist. Rest assured the entire team is gonna hover around the hook, not letting the meter feel even one bit. If you get in a chase, forget about any gen progress. Nobody's gonna do them.
There you go. I mean, the video pretty much summarizes exactly what a lot of Survivor players are experiencing, as well as even as a killer player that I can say that I've seen on Survivor, because I've had about 400 hours according to the DBD stats on that side, as well as all the experience of me playing against these survivors. I can see that they're making a lot of dumbass mistakes and then want to get mad that I'm capitalizing off of their mistakes, their blunders, their bullshit. It's kind of insane. It's mind-blowing, even. But I also kind of expect this because they've taken away all skill expression from Survivor. You have thousands of pallets 2 inches away from each other. Alongside that, those things also connect to windows, that also connect to pallets, that also connect to another pallet, that connects to another window, and another this, and another that. And it's like, why don't we have things like a stamina bar to prevent this? And then you get, oh, but it's gonna kill the game. The game's already dying. We need drastic change for this game to start to improve. And the problem is that they see stamina bar on base level, like just, oh, you can't run that far. I'm like, okay, didn't you just hear me saying that in that video that you can increase the amount, make it decay slower? You can adjust things to that. You can even pause it while in a tile, in a chase or some type of shit. However they want to code it, you can do that. You can do that. But the problem I'm having is the fact that knowing behavior, they'll never implement that as a mechanic, because that's the one thing that helps about, I'm just gonna throw out a percentage, like let's say 80 to 90% of the roster, because if you're a range killer like Jason or Huntress, Slinger, whatever, hold W is king. Like, combination with all the clutter everywhere in the map, hold W is king. Take into account most of the characters are M1s, hold W is king. Just hold W, hold W, hold W. Pre-drop, pre-drop, pre-drop. Spam your spacebar a couple times. Pre-drop, pre-drop, pre-drop. They're not gonna catch you. But because everyone's so hyper-focused on, oh, but Blight, oh, but Nurse, I'm like, okay, but those are 2 characters. The reason that people are, like killers that still play the game, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the casuals are probably like, fuck this game. Now they're starting to open their eyes and see like, yeah, this game ain't it, dog. All that's left is going to be the people that either are sweating to try to make sure they get their wins, or they're going to be mains of high tiers, and they're going to have a blast because high tiers tend to ignore a lot of the bullshit that killer has to deal with. So what do you think is going to happen, right? When you keep adding stupidity on top of stupidity on top of stupidity, and you're pushing away all the casual killers? Because I'm pretty sure killers are not getting on to try to have like the most high cortisol, stress-inducing, high heart rate, stressed out, sweat ball matches every single game. Like, not everybody's trying to do that. Myself included. Like, I play what? 1 game on stream, and then we go to the next game? We go to like, we switch from DVD, like 1 match on there, all the way to a completely different game because of this. All of these changes. I become the casual player at this point. I get on for maybe a match. I'm like, that's enough. It's not fun. So why the fuck are we gonna keep playing it? It's not a good idea, man. I just don't think it's worth it.
You're gonna be wandering around the map like it's a fucking sightseeing tour, rushing dull totems, and of course looting chests, even though they can bring literally any item from the blood web while they're getting ready for the match. And God forbid
Literally.
you get any flashlighters in your lobby. I swear, these guys are straight up parasites who expect you to do all the work for them while they are having fun with the killer trying to force their cringe flashlight saves. And most of them are not even good at it, so they end up on the ground like 20 seconds into the match. And naturally, they never have a single second chance perk to bail them out of that. This basically turns solo queue into a straight up lose streak simulator, where no matter what you do, you get your ass handed to you. And this is just ridiculous, because with how blatantly Survivor-sided the game is, survivors realistically shouldn't be losing at all. The devs provide—
I'm glad that we're hearing it once again from somebody who plays a bunch of survivors saying it straight up. They had, I think, according to the screenshot that they showed, was like almost 800 hours.
all the hand-holding in the world for them in the form of perks, items, add-ons, and even base kit mechanics. So if they actually play and not f*** around, they can easily finish a match in about 5 minutes. All you have to do for that is split up and hold M1 on different gens. That's it. Hell, you don't even really need to actually hold M1 anymore, because the game conveniently gives you the option that automates that part. So all that's left for you is hitting skill checks and occasionally moving the camera so you don't get grabbed by a random Myers or Ghostface. It's literally the easy mode of the game. I mean, what other game just hands you victory on a silver platter like that? And yet somehow, unless the killer is completely new, to the point where they haven't even figured out the basics for the role, most matches still result in survivors getting completely stomped. A normal player in this situation would take a step back, analyze their mistakes, and—
Now, I had to let it play there for a little bit because bro is cooking. I mean, what else is there to say? I've already said it. Now we have somebody else saying exactly what I've been saying, even faster and more efficient than I ever could at that point, because there you have it, right? Another person saying the same stuff we've been saying. And because people cannot fathom the concept that they're actually just ass the freaking game, they think it's the killer's fault, the game's fault, the balancing, the this, the that, every other excuse instead of looking inward and going, maybe you're just ass at the game. But a lot of these people who somehow cannot fathom this concept, because we've covered this previously, are the same people that hold these delusions, that are trying to quote unquote debunk me, mind you, because we've had that happen before, where they drop like an hour-long video to debunk what we're saying, and then when he actually goes over the talking point that I brought up, his only response was, I don't care about that. Believe it or not, I wish I was joking. Like, bro, unironically, his only response was, I don't care about that. So I'm like, you already lost the argument, dog. Like, you're not even engaging with the conversation. You claim that you want to engage the conversation, but then when brought with a talking point that contradicts what you're trying to say, you don't even acknowledge it and try to disprove it, or even try to explain yourself better. Because keep in mind, the talking point that a lot of Survivor players have is, oh, but killers can streak to like 1900. Like, well, I mean, that's killer-sided. And it's like, okay, but it's one killer out of the entire, how many killers are in the game? Like 40 something. Then the second talking point you want to add on to that is that who got the streak? Momo7, 10k plus hours, comp player. Which means all of us who are probably tuning into this, playing the game at any point, do not have 10k hours on the fucking game. That is probably like the 1% of players that are actually participating in that game, maining one of the stronger killers in the game. So that means that he has the hours to back it up, going against consistently other players that are probably Survivor mains or play both as effectively as possible, because usually when they're in comp, that usually means that there's money on the line. They're playing at the highest level. So it's like, when you have that type of experience where you're going against people that are trying to win and have the experience to match, and you take that and you put them into the kiddie pool, right? It's like Michael Phelps going into the kiddie pool, essentially, right? Let's just use that as an example. Who do you think is going to win the race at that point? The person who was consistently swimming for thousands of hours, or the little kid that's like, oh yay, I get to swim? Like, night and day, dude. But somehow That's a talking point. For who, we don't know, because it makes no sense. You can't. They're not even remotely in the same ballpark for with what kind of skill level and expression there is. At the end of the day. So instead of, mind you, and this even applies to even the greater narrative, is the fact that streaks are outliers. They are not impressive because they happen every day. They're impressive because they are outliers, because they are rare, because it's very specific people can pull this off. Like even One Pump Willie, I have to even give credit to, because well known for getting streaks, but I also know that bro probably has way more hours than I do, way more hours than you do listening to this. Like, let's be so for real. Way more hours than all of us. So like, and he of course is playing the game consistently. He's getting paid to basically play the goddamn game, to sit there for everyone's entertainment. So like, of course, if he's loving the game and he's getting paid for it, and everything is kind of the stars align in that sense, why wouldn't you continue to play the game and actually improve to a point where you can just find builds that work for you and your playstyle with characters that are consistently usually bad unless you're an expert at the game or the character or both. That's why we can only name like 2 people that have streaks, because not every single person is getting a streak every goddamn day. That just isn't a thing. So it just further goes to show that like there is just this lack of knowledge across the board, that these people are blatantly being idiotic when playing this game. They're making stupid decisions. They don't learn anything. And then because of that, now the game has evolved into the shit fest that it is now. And it's a shame, because the game could be better. The game could improve. The game could be this really fun party game that everybody can pretty much enjoy, because it would have all of our favorite slashers in there. Almost, basically. I mean, you could say the Ghostface mask and not actually the character, but I digress. You can kind of step into the shoes of a lot of iconic characters and be able to have fun. But no, that's not a thing, because they're more interested in trying to milk the casual survivors for what they're worth. And for some reason, they just don't see that, and they don't think, damn, like, I don't really matter to these devs or this community. I'm only here because of the wallet. That you would think that would matter, but no, they don't care.
Try to improve, but not DBD survivors, because doing that would imply taking accountability for your actions and admitting that you are basically the architects of your own demise. But after 10 years of special treatment, Behaviour have basically turned survivors into spoiled children with super fragile egos, so they can't do that. They'd rather shift the blame on the killer and complain about their perks, add-ons, camping, tunneling, slugging, and so on and so forth. They'll throw tantrums in the post-game chat, call you the craziest shit imaginable, and generally act like you've just committed a fucking war crime. All because you didn't play like a fucking tutorial bot. But most importantly, they take it straight to Behaviour. They go to their socials and start crying there, asking for even more buffs, more safety nets, and more handholding. And of course Behaviour listens, because these players make up the majority of the player base, so from a business standpoint it makes perfect sense. That's where the money is, that's who's buying skins and DLCs. So Behaviour caves again and again, giving them more advantages, more tools, and more ways to make the game essentially play itself. Does it help survivors play any better? Of course not. As a matter of fact, it actually does exactly the opposite. With each subsequent buff or another crazy perk, the average skill level of survivors plummets even further down. After 10 years of this madness, we've reached a point where Behaviour rolls out one of the most broken and survivor-sided events in the history of—
I mean, bro is cooking. I mean, there's not really much I don't really disagree with any of it. Bro is cooking. I mean, he's saying everything that I was thinking, because that's ultimately what's happening. And the problem is that I guess it's just the way that it's being presented. I guess the way that the rest of us are speaking about it, it's like people just want to get mad or something. But at the end of the day, it's the truth. Why not take in the truth? Why not accept the facts? Because it's there. These Survivor players play like shit, shift W and press spacebar all the time. There is no fucking gameplay. There really isn't any goddamn gameplay. There really isn't. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Because when you sit there and have maps that autopilot, and I thought I would have at least a gameplay example within this video actually to kind of show how autopilot that it really is, because it is. And it's just insane to me that the game has evolved into this, because looping was like a new concept that they added into the game, basically off of just what the community was able to kind of come up with instead of the sort of hide and seek gameplay, and the game had evolved into that direction. But it's crazy to me that the game has now devolved into this autopilot simulator. And just from these two pallets alone already goes to show you how bad it is. But even more so, we're gonna see once we actually get into chase with the Sable player, which, mind you, this entire chase is going to be probably the main reason, I would say, like proof, I would say, that the game has completely devolved. Because as you can see, right, we have not like, which I'm gonna set the scene here. We have already one pallet broken. We run a bit, have to unclose. Oh, another pallet right there. That's a god pallet. So we try to go the other side and try to break it on that side. They can just vault right over, and then guess what happens? There's going to be another one right up ahead. There's a window there. But hey, you don't have to run there because Shift W always works. And then you get to run to the main building, which, mind you, as anybody who's played this game for more than an hour, another pallet right in front of the entrance. Yeah, that's 3 pallets. You run a little bit more. Oh, there's another one. There's 4 pallets. And you break that one. And then now you keep running. Oh, a window. Wow. So 4 pallets in a window, right? And then guess what? You're going to run up the ramp. And then another window. And then if you run to the side, there's another pallet. And then you run again, there's 2 more windows. And then there's another pallet next to the 2 windows. So, in what scenario are the survivors ever in danger? Because all I'm seeing is completely safety. Oh, and don't forget there's a window next to that pallet. So, as you can see, I mean, where are they in danger? Oh, look, and that pallet connects to 2 more windows from before. They drop down, and then they die. The most autopilot gameplay you have ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen. Which I made this a point to really show the fact that not only is it a Sable player, but they're using the most purchased cosmetic, I think, on Survivor in the entirety of the game. And I think that that's very telling for this community. That's very telling for how this game has declined. This player, I think, is the epitome of the decline of the game. A player that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, using the most purchased Survivor cosmetic in the entire game, autopiloting through the most broken side of the swamp map in the entirety of the game. That a map that was stated to get a rework at some point. Probably, even if there was one, I can't even tell you that there's a difference. It still feels as broken as ever. And I think that that is ultimately like the biggest example I can give you. Like the summary, the Spark Notes version, like everything wrong with this game boiled down to that alone. Everything boiled, like it wrong with the game, and just that in just less than 1 minute is the issue with this game. That right there, I think, is worthy of like, I needed to like land. I needed to have the impact that it needs to have, because it's important to really think about that for a second. This player was completely injured, out of position, and then managed to run through 4 pallets and at least 4 windows next to them, we're gonna say, just from that. And say that this other teammate was actually doing the generators, we probably would have lost an extra one, or maybe even 2, because of how fast gens go. It's literally the exact problem with this game boiled down right there and then. And I said that on stream too. I was like, you know, this right there, that's the problem with this game. These people are not incentivized to improve at the game. They're not incentivized to want to get better. They're not incentivized to do anything besides be brainless, shift W, everything get handed to them on a silver platter. There's no other game in existence that I know of that's multiplayer that is handing you just W after W after W for free like this. Like, I've just never seen it before. Any game I've ever seen requires effort and brain power to actually participate in the match. I've never seen a game do this before. In all my time in gaming, I've never seen anything this egregious before. But we got proof. It boils down to this. And it's insane. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. And if you're tired of the DVD slop, check out the other channels. We got a Marvel Rivals channel and a video essay channel that you guys should subscribe to and stay tuned for content on that instead. If you're really tired of the DVD slop, and if you want to support the channel, you can become a member on this channel. You can also join the Patreon or even subbing on Twitch to help power, you know, the efforts that we're trying to get through here. I want to know what you guys think, man. Hit the like button. I want to see you guys next time. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.